Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. Come back to your senses as you ought, and stop sinning. For there are some who are ignorant of God. I say this to your shame.
You're watching Family
Movie.
Welcome back. Today I want to look at how this particular channel is different, and different from the few videos that preceded it in this relaunch. Instead of just posting out and complaining about the latest woke Marvel movie, DC character assassination, Star Wars girl bossing, or the next rumored rebrand of Doctor Who that still refuses to get back to basics, I want to do something more. Anyone can get online and complain about things. It takes a lot more work to try to do something about it. I've stated before, and I'll say it again now, there are some positive movies being made toward this, and some moves that are being made by you simply stop watching and subscribing to people who are putting out this garbage.
That was garbage!
It is important to remember that what we're consuming will impact us to some degree. If we're constantly bombarding ourselves with explicit content, gory violence, non-stop profanities, fornication, and whatever else you can fill in here from the dumpster, it's bound to rub off in some way, shape, or form. Stories can be referred to as soul food, and if we're feeding our souls a steady diet of junk, poison, or emptiness, we're going to get sick. Further, the viewpoint of the content matters. If we absorb the outworking of the view presented in the story, we may be prone to pursue that outworking to some degree in our own lives. The worldview presented in the movie, no matter how fictitious, can still present some formative influence if that is all that is being consumed. How about a quick example of this?
to influence your judgment.
Star Wars can be a lot of fun. There's multiple movies, shows, books, and games set in this space fantasy series. Sure, we can debate about which of these are good or bad, how terrible Disney has treated this franchise, or even what's considered true canon. At this point, anyway. But what's the worldview here? Well, it's one of syncretism and pantheism, drawing heavily from Eastern mystic religions. George Lucas himself describes his faith as Buddhist Methodist. However, his worldview can be seen woven throughout the franchise. If we engage in a steady diet of content that comes from a syncretistic worldview, taking a little bit from this religion and tweaking a couple aspects of that religion, you end up creating a God in your own image. The problem with that is that such a God doesn't exist.
Or doesn't exist.
I'm not saying don't watch Star Wars. You may have some convictions that lead you to not watch it in your household. But I'm not here to argue against that. But when we watch these movies, or any movie, we should consume them critically. No, I don't think we all ought to be movie critics or have our own channels reviewing movies. I don't even aim to do that here, even if I may on occasion provide some reviews. What I am saying is that we have to be engaged with our mind and think critically, not to turn off our brain just because lightsabers are cool and C-3PO is shiny.
Shiny. Shiny.
As protectors of our households, we need to be alert about what content is coming in through our screens. It doesn't all have to be from a Christian worldview, but when it's not, we should be able to identify and use this as a teachable moment. We see this in some of the good versus evil, wrong versus right in Star Wars. We can see some of the themes of self-sacrifice and truth versus deception as positive themes, but the execution just doesn't have a firm foundation. There's the mysticism of the impersonal force, Zen-like meditation, and the supposed dualism that good and evil are always needing to be equally balanced. Like so many other places, there is a misconception that there are equal and opposite forces. Yet the devil is a created being. God is the Creator eternal. There is no competition here.
You got that?
So as we enjoy a family movie night, or you have a kid who's really getting into Star Wars or whatever else, be sure to think through what is going on when this content is consumed. Ask, how is this influencing me and my family? How does this provide a teachable moment? Am I able to glorify Jesus and enjoy this content? Be honest with yourself and your family. If the content is causing harm, it's time to cut it out of your family's sole diet. If you're having to choose between something God-glorifying and something self-gratifying, that should be conviction enough to say there's something wrong here. There's lots of content to choose from out there. Our task is to choose wisely. Leave a comment below if there's something you'd like to hear more about. Thanks for watching.